Talk about the kid sitting to the right and to the left of you, coach. Both of those kids, and what are their strengths?
Well, both of these men are great. They're both from great families, and they're great people. They're very dependable, and they've been here for a long time. I can remember Camden playing in middle school when we first got here, watching him play baseball. Both of these guys have been in Mobile Christian for a long time. So they've done a great job. Even through the adversity of last year when things happened, both of these guys have stood up strong. And I say they're both very resilient young men, very mature young men. Camden's got an old soul. When you talk to Camden, he's like talking to a grown man, and he's been that way since he was in the 8th grade. But really excited to have both of them. I think Bryson is going to have a really big year. I watched him yesterday in our one-on-one stuff, one-on-one pass pro stuff we do in the summer. And he did a really, really good job. He's really developed and improved his technique. I'm just really proud to have both of these guys.
3A Region 1, one of the top in the state. Just talk a little bit about some of those teams. WS Neal, Excel, Hillcrest Evergreen, and, some of those teams.
Well, 3A Region 1 is a tough region. WS Neal, I think, is going to be much improved. Their head coach, Hugh Found, has done a great job. He's picked up a few guys, I think, too, from having a good program there. 4 of our first games are at home, and I think it's really going to help us with the new stadium and for us to get this team going. Our first region game will be away at Neal, and that will be a really big football game. I would not be surprised if somebody wins this region with a loss. Excel is going to be good again. Monroe County, they say is going to be very improved. They were very talented last year, but they had a first-year coach. Hillcrest, I have not had a lot of success with Hillcrest. Every time I played them up there, I've not won. But they've got to come down here this time, and I think hopefully we'll be better prepared. Cottage Hill is always a competitive game because it's a rivalry game. And I thought last year they had one of the best teams that we played. Those two twins were unbelievable. In fact, that's the reason they're going to college. And finally, Flomaton, having been a coach at Flomaton a long, long time ago, that's always a big game for us.
Coach, you look like you're playing 10 straight weeks of football without a bye week. Talk about your overall schedule and how it's going to benefit or hurt your team down the stretch playing 10 straight weeks.
Well, and you know what? I think probably the biggest factor for us being successful here is can we be healthy? It is a positive. We'll have another week to prepare at the end of the season for playoffs if we can get in there again. Maybe get some guys healed up for the drive in the playoffs, but we just had to take what we can get. And we're going to play Orange Beach at Orange Beach, which I think is going to be a good game. It's a local team that hopefully we can become regular scheduled. And so I would have hoped to have had the open date on 29, but that was the only game I could get. And so we'll have an open date before we start playoffs. Yeah, when you play them back to back to back to back, you run the risk of maybe having an injury and have a guy have an extended time being out, but hopefully that will not be the case.
Coach, y'all have been lost a key player in the last couple of weeks, but does that change the goals at all, or what you think?
Absolutely not. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make one comment, and I really prefer, these guys are great. You ask them, it's fine too. That situation with Sterling Dixon had gone for a long time. Literally schools were trying to get him, and I'm talking about third parties of schools, have been trying to get him since our season ended last year. So it wasn't something that was totally unexpected. But I did not expect it to happen when it happened. So, but no, our goals have not changed. I just told you I've got the best lineman group we've had since I've been here. In fact, I think this will be one of the best lineman groups in the whole area. But we feel like we've got a great football team. We will miss him because we love him. He's been with me for a long time, but we wish him the best. But in the long term of it, our guys are very focused and have done an excellent job. I don't think it's gonna affect us as much as many people think it will. I think we will miss some plays and we'll miss his leadership. But we're really excited about putting this team on the field.
Kentonio Kelly, Sterling leaves. You know, you still got Kentonio Kelly. Talk about him as
A great player. And last year, Kentonio set the single season record for tackles, and then a week later, Sterling broke it. So I'm saying this is a very productive player, and Kentonio has really worked hard. He's always been a leader. He's a very mature guy. He's much like Camden in how he works in the front seven. I'm expecting a really big year from Kentonio. He'll play both ways this year and will be an outstanding player for us. I think he'll be a major college guy in a year or two. I think he's going to burst on the scene this year.
Does Bryson move into Sterling's position, or who will fill that position?
Well, yes. What we'll do is we'll probably move more to a four-man front. Sterling was more of a hybrid stand-up end, but we'll probably go to more of a four-man front, utilize guys like him, like Floyd Boucard. We'll be okay there. We'll probably miss Sterling more in the pass rush stuff. He always had a knack for getting to the quarterback. But I really like what we got. We could move we could move Antonio to that position as well, because he is a really, really good player.
Speaking of Floyd Ducard, I think I saw him clocked at a 4.7.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. I mean, he could play running back if you wanted to. He's 300 pounds. I think he's going to be a surprise because he was unable to play last year.
Yeah.
So we're expecting big things from him. He and Bo Cagle. Both sophomores are really highly recruited right now.
Yeah.
They really are both being highly recruited for 10th grade guys going into 11th grade.
Speaking of Bo Cagle, top center, one of the top centers in the state, one of the top in the country. Talk about him, and I know he is a weight room demon.
Yeah,
talk a little bit about him.
We just finished our lift-a-thon last week, and we had our whole team did a really, really good job. Had some impressive numbers, but I've never had a kid lift what Bo Cagle has done. Now, ironically, Damian Gatson, our quarterback, he squatted 600 pounds, which is the largest lift I've ever had for a non-lineman ever in my career as a high school coach. He's, I don't know, he and Bo both are extremely special in the weight room.
Bryson, what are your goals for this year? Talk about what you expect out of this team.
I want everybody to do their job, and, whether that's on the field or off the field, and I feel like if we do that, we'll be successful.
Camden, as a senior, what would you want to do different than the seniors of past?
Really just lead the team, just be there for everybody, just really to be there, just make sure everybody know what they're doing, just stay on top of everybody.
Ken, last year you guys make it all the way to the semifinals, and you come away a little bit short. How does that personally motivate you, and what are you going to tell your teammates to make sure you don't have that same taste in your mouth this year?
Just grind more, just grind for real, just make sure you know the playbook and everything, stay conditioned, just make sure you have everybody back.
Do you guys, either one of you guys, feel even without Sterling, this defense is still going to be really good? And can you talk about how you, as leaders, you kind of taking over that position?
Without Sterling, it'll be fine. Sterling is a good friend, but we just worry about the team right now. Because we got everybody else on the team. We got younger guys that we can lead, that can step up in that role.
Bryson, y'all had the first round matchup with Houston Academy last year. How did that motivate you guys? Them thinking that that you guys won one of the top 10 teams in the state. How did that motivate you going into that game?
Well, that was when we were having a lot of adversity. I feel like it was really a comeback game for us. I feel like we kind of came together as a team, and did what we were supposed to.
Bryson, last season as a whole, it seemed like early on you had the forfeits and you lost 2 overtime games. It's like there's no way they're gonna make the playoffs. And then you get there and make it to the semifinals. How much motivation, momentum can you carry over from that, you think?
I think we can, because it shows us that we can, overcome stuff like that. And
Both of you guys, coaches kind of talked about the new stadium, talk about the enhancements to the stadium and how excited you are to be at the new stadium this year.
it's nice, turf field, a lot of, good things get put into it.
And for both of you guys as players, you mentioned the new stadium. Was there a certain game y'all have circled on the schedule that y'all are looking forward to of the others?
We really don't target anybody, we really play everybody, we don't look down on anybody at all.
Our first game, Athens.
Talk about, go ahead. Talk about some of those 3A Region 1 opponents. Some of the, local media might not know about some of those teams. Just talk about some of those teams that are really good.
The team that we played this year is pretty good. WS Neal, Hillcrest, Cottage Hill, everybody's pretty good. We ready for them.
But you have to be in this region. And down here in South Alabama, this is the best football that's being played, so you gotta meet the challenge every week. I did wanna mention a couple of other guys that I didn't mention. I've got a 10th grade D lineman named Davon Young that we're really excited about. I watched him yesterday. He's another 300-pound kid that I think will be a major college guy. But Aiden Ransom has played really, really well at linebacker for us. He's another guy that will play in that jack position. But also we've got a young man named Aiden Gatson, another baseball player that's come in and played really well. I don't have as many numbers as I had last year, but I think I'm more proud of what I got, if you know what I'm saying. I'm really proud of the culture that we have in our program. And I just want to expound on Antonio Kelly. That young man has made himself a football player. He's a student of the game. I mean, he was talking about film he was watching the other day. How many kids in the summer are watching film of their opponents? That he has the respect, like you're talking about, of our opponents. But I really want to focus on what we got. You know what I'm saying? I know right now we've got some really, really good players, but the whole key, I told him yesterday, is I've had good teams that were very talented that weren't very good teams. We have got to become a team. And the greatest teams I've been involved in, I can remember in 1993 at Florida State, when we won the national championship, our best players were our best people. And that's what I've been challenging these guys. I mean, if you're going to truly be a leader, you've got to be a great person, because you're going to get more respect. And I think that's our biggest challenge right now, is our growth as a team. We have some talented guys, but we've got to really become a football team when adversity strikes. And Mobile Christian is a phenomenal school. We are so fortunate. We've got great kids in our school, and they produce. I think right now I've got a very resilient team, and that's what we're hanging our hat on. We got to find a way to win. That's our slogan. We got to find a way to win the games that are close. And we're going to be very physical. I think this will probably be the best run team we've had, and hopefully we can bend some guys back in this region that we're talking about. Hopefully we can control the line of scrimmage and play well.
Thank you, Coach. Guys, appreciate y'all coming. Look forward to seeing you this year.
Good job. Mobile Christian coach, Ronnie Cottrell and the crew.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.